Welcome guys back to another video in the channel. Today we'll be doing Manchester City versus Arsenal prediction. This is one of the first games back after lockdown, and please man, I really want the football back, and this is no bigger game to come back to. Manchester City versus Arsenal. This is going to be a big game, and we'll be doing, this is obviously, I'm an Arsenal fan, so will be from an Arsenal perspective. We'll be going through all the news. We're doing a bit of Manchester City news as well, but it will be Arsenal predicted lineups and a bit of a preview from an Arsenal standpoint. So please bear that in mind when you watch the rest of this video. So let's get straight into the preview. So obviously, since football has been out for such a long time, obviously a lot of players will be back. So looking at this from an Arsenal point, obviously we'll have Kieran Tierney back from injury, which will be a big comeback for us. Callum Chambers won't be back because he did have an ACL injury, so he will be still out. On a Manchester City point of view, Kevin De Bruyne will be back for Manchester City. Sergio Aguero will be back. Leroy Sané will be back. So they'll have a big boost going into this one. So I do expect Manchester City to give Arsenal a lot of fight in this one, but you know, looking at Arsenal's chances of top four, you know, they have a real chance to try and make top four, because you look at the table and Arsenal only 5 points off a potential 5th Champions League position. So obviously, you know, at the time of recording, it's June 8th. So the hearing is going on between the CAS and Manchester City, the court hearing. So obviously we'll probably find out in August after the league is finished, but Arsenal do have to aim for that top 5, top 4 if they do want to try and make the Champions League. But, you know, for Arsenal, it's going to be a big game. You know, Arsenal really have to be up for it. You know, if Manchester City are doing well in this game, they will definitely beat us because they have better quality than us. But, you know, if you look at all the managers in the league, no manager knows Pep Guardiola better than Mikel Arteta in this league, because he has worked with him. You know, he'll know all the flaws in Pep Guardiola. I think Pep Guardiola's, chances to try and exploit Arteta will be knowing his flaws. So it's going to be quite an interesting game in terms of tactics. But I'm not sure what Arteta is going to go for. In the friendly game against Charlton, we did win 6-0. And he did try out a few games. I did watch the highlights in that one. He did try 2 cams, 2 CDMs. So we don't know what he will actually go for. So let's get straight into the predicted lineup. So starting off in goal for Arsenal, I'm going to go with Bernd Leno. This is quite an obvious one because he's just our number one goalkeeper. I think Martinez will get a few run-outs in a few games, especially the FA Cup game against Sheffield United. But in goal for this one, it'll be Bernd Leno. Right back will be Hector Bellerin. This is because, he is our best right back right now. I haven't seen much of Cedric Suarez. Obviously, he came on loan and he hasn't played a single game because he had an injury, I believe. So, you know, we couldn't see much of him, which is, I don't know much about Cedric, so I won't put him straight in there, but I'm going to go with Hector Bellerin because he is the most established right back. Maybe when Cedric does get a few games, he may become better, but for now, I'm going to go with Hector Bellerin at right back. The left back, this is an interesting one because we don't know if Kieran Tierney is fully fit. So I'm going to go with Kieran Tierney though, because he is our best left back. I think I want Saka playing more further forward, but we'll come to that in a bit. But I'm going to go Kieran Tierney. He is our best left back. So let's get straight into the centre backs. So for centre back, I'm going to go with David Luiz, the first one. He's our most experienced centre back, and he is probably our best centre back, which is probably one of the reasons I'm going to put in there. And I think he will have to be on his best game. No clumsy behaviour in this game. And I think David Luiz will have to be on call. So let's get on to the second centre-back. This is quite a difficult one because you have a lot of choices to make. It could be, Rob Holding. It could be Socrates. It could be Pablo Mari. It could be Mustafi. But for this one, I'm going to go with Pablo Mari. This is because I think he has the experience in this game, playing against his former side, of course. And I think Arteta favours a left-sided defender in his team. So I think Pablo Mari will play in this. I just have that sneaky feeling he will. Obviously, it depends if he's impressed in training or not. But hopefully he has, and I think he'll play. But Mustafi, yes, he's played well before the lockdown and all. But I just don't want to play Mustafi, man. Some of the mistakes, especially paired up with David Luiz. If they make a few mistakes, Sergio Aguero will be put through and he will score. So I'm going to go with Pablo Mari in this one. Stick with the experience for this game. So I'm going to go with the 4-2-3-1. So let's get straight into the 2 holding midfielders. So the first CDM we will go with, for me, has to be Granit Xhaka. I think he's been one of the best CDMs, to be honest, under Mikel Arteta. I think Lucas Torreira, he had an injury against Portsmouth, so he hasn't really had time to show himself. And I think he's been less favoured anywhere under Mikel Arteta. And I think Ceballos has been playing more. But we'll be getting onto that. So the first CD I'm going to go with Granit Xhaka. He's been average. He's been decent. He hasn't been mind-blowing. But I think he'll be a good rock to have in there in that CDM. He's not really a rock, but he's the best we have right now. So I have to put him in there, and that's Granit Xhaka. Xhaka. The person I want next to Granit Xhaka in that midfield, in that CDM role, is Dani Ceballos. I think going forward, because we need an attacking side, we have to take it to Manchester City in this game. I think Ceballos really has to turn up, and he really will have to help Mesut Ozil going forward and help supply the forward line for Arsenal. So for me, I think it has to be Dani Ceballos in that next CDM role. Looking at number 10, the cam role. For me, there are quite one or two possibilities in this game, but I'm going to go with Mesut Ozil. You could say Willock, but I think we need experience in this game. Experience will be something that could win us this game against Manchester City. So I'm going to go with Mesut Ozil. I think he really has to be on core in this game, or we will get blown apart, because we need his skill, we need his flair in this game. That's Mesut Ozil for me. In the left-hand side, I'm going to go with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. I think we really need him on the left-hand side to give a lot of pressure on Kyle Walker down that right side, who will probably be playing for Manchester City. So I think for Aubameyang to play in that left-hand side probably opens up an opportunity for Lacazette to play down the middle, but we'll get onto that in a second. But I think Aubameyang has to play then. He has to start scoring goals, because if we do have a chance to get into the top 4, it will be because of him. So Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is on the left-hand side. Looking on the right-hand side, I'm going to go with Nicolas Pepe. Again, he's a player that, he's been doing quite well this season. Again, he's done better this season in stats than Wilfried Zaha, who was our number 1 choice for that winger position. But I think Nicolas Pepe will really have to be on court again in this game, like all of our other players. I think the whole team will have to have a 5-star performance, like a full 10 on 10 performance, 11 out of 10 performance to beat Manchester City in this one. I think Nicolas Pepe will have to be key in this one. Whoever plays at left back for Manchester City, if it's Zinchenko, Mendy or whatever, I think Nicolas Pepe can deal with them. I think Pepe could be better than them, going forward. And hopefully Pepe does cause a lot of problems down the right-hand side. So let's get straight into the striker position. I'm going to go with Alexandre Lacazette. He did score against Charlton. He scored quite a beautiful goal, actually. And I think, again, I'm going to go with the experience. Some people may say go with the energetic Martinelli, but I'd rather have him come off the bench and try and cause some problems in the second half when the game's a bit more tighter and players are getting a bit more tireder. So that's why I'm going to go with Alexandre Lacazette. Hopefully he can start scoring and provide us with some goals, which will be very crucial for us going into this one. So that is Alexandre Lacazette. A quick run through of our whole team. So that is Bernd Leno, Hector Bellerin, David Luiz, Pablo Mari, Kieran Tierney, Granit Xhaka, Dani Ceballos, Mesut Ozil, Nicolas Pepe, Aubameyang and Alexandre Lacazette. Coming off the bench, I think we'll have quite a bit of firepower. Lucas Torreira could come on if we are trying to defend the game, which would be quite helpful. And Martinelli, obviously, for the pace, and Willock, we could bring on these players if we are chasing the game. And maybe even Bukayo Saka. How could we forget about Bukayo Saka? So that would be quite good as well for us. Okay, now we're going to go on to the predicted score. Now, oh my god, this is so hard to predict. So hard. But for me, I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. I don't see Arsenal losing this one. I think Arsenal will be doing quite well under Mikel Arteta, and I think hopefully Arteta does carry on. Even a 2-2 draw in this game will be quite good for Arsenal going forward. It's a point, and it's a point where, it's the game in hand, so it doesn't really matter what we get from it. Any positive result will be a positive result in this game. So I think a 2-2 draw will be quite good in this one. That's what I'm going to go for. Manchester City versus Arsenal. It's going to be a very interesting game. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this one. It's one of the first games back in the Premier League. Hopefully it's a banger. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe as well, share the video. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.